Hana found her way back to the squad after the rain stopped. They had located the research team hiding in a cave 3 kilometers away. Everyone was safe, just scared. A pack of smaller predators had attacked their camp, but no one was hurt badly. On the transport back to the facility, Jiwon asked her where she had gone. "I got lost in the rain," Hana said. "Just walked in circles until I found you again." It was not exactly a lie, but it was not the full truth either. She did not know why she kept the Apex encounter secret. Maybe because no one would believe her. Maybe because they would think she was stupid for getting that close to such a dangerous creature. Or maybe because something about that moment felt private, personal, like it was meant just for her and the creature in the rain. The next few days passed normally. Training continued. Doyen kept making his comments about weak humans. Hana kept proving she could think her way through problems even if she could not punch her way through them. But she started noticing something strange. During combat training in the outdoor arena, she saw movement at the edge of the jungle. A shadow that was there 1 second and gone the next. During night navigation exercises, she heard something pacing along the fence line, keeping distance but definitely there. She was being watched. Hana was not the only one who noticed. Other recruits started reporting sightings of an apex near the facility. This had never happened before. Apex creatures stayed deep in the jungle, far from human settlements. "I saw it by the south wall," said one alien recruit at dinner. "Big, maybe 3 meters long. Just standing there, looking at the facility." "I saw it too," said another. "It was near the training field, watching us." Commander Taeyang called an emergency meeting. "Until we understand why an apex is approaching the facility, all outdoor training is suspended after dark. No one goes near the walls alone. We have increased guard patrols. If you see the creature, report it immediately. Do not approach it." Hana felt a strange flutter in her stomach. She knew which apex it was. She knew why it was there. It was looking for her. A scientist named Minji arrived the next day. She was a xenobiologist, someone who studied alien animals. She was human too, which was rare for a scientist in the coalition. Most humans did not have the resources for advanced education in xenobiology. Minji set up equipment to monitor the jungle around the facility. Cameras, motion sensors, audio recorders. She was determined to learn more about their apex visitor. 3 days later, she found something interesting. "Look at this," Minji said to Commander Taeyang in the security office. Hana happened to be passing by the open door and heard them talking. She stopped to listen. Minji pulled up footage on a screen. It showed the training field at dawn. Recruits were running obstacle courses. The camera angle caught the edge of the jungle, and there, barely visible in the shadows, was the apex. "Now watch where it is looking," Minji said. The footage continued. The apex's head tracked one specific person. When that person moved left, the apex's gaze followed. When that person moved right, the apex turned its head. That person was Hana. "It is only there when she is outside," Minji said. "I checked 3 days of footage. Every time this recruit is in an outdoor area, the apex appears within minutes. When she goes inside, it leaves." Taeyang was quiet for a moment. "That is impossible. Apex creatures do not bond with other species. They barely tolerate their own kind." "I know what the research says," Minji replied. "But this is what is happening. That apex is fixated on her for some reason." Hana's heart raced. She should walk away. She should pretend she did not hear. But she could not move. "Bring her in," Taeyang said. "I need to talk to her." Hana jumped away from the door and tried to look casual, but it was too late. Taeyang stepped into the hallway and saw her. "Hana," he said. "My office now." She followed him inside. Minji was there too, looking curious but not angry. Taeyang gestured to a chair and Hana sat down. "I am going to ask you a direct question," Taeyang said, "and I need a direct answer. Have you had any contact with an apex creature?" Hana's mind raced. She could lie. But these people were trying to keep everyone safe. They deserved the truth. "Yes, sir," she said quietly. "During the rescue mission. When I got separated in the storm, she told them everything. The trap, the injured apex, how she had freed it, how it had looked at her before leaving." Taeyang and Minji listened without interrupting. When Hana finished, there was a long silence. "Do you understand how dangerous that was?" Taeyang finally said. His voice was not angry, just tired. "That creature could have killed you instantly." "I know, sir. But it was hurt. I could not just leave it there. Minji leaned forward. Did it make any aggressive moves after you freed it? No, it just looked at me. Then it left. Minji and Taeyang exchanged glances. This is unprecedented, Minji said. Apex intelligence has been studied for years, but we have never seen behavior like this. They are solitary hunters. They do not form bonds. Maybe they do, Hana said. Maybe we just never gave them a reason to. That night, Hana could not sleep again. She kept thinking about the Apex out there in the dark, watching the facility, watching for her. Around midnight, she made a decision that was probably stupid. She got dressed and went to the facility kitchen. She found some meat in the storage unit, wrapped it in paper, and slipped outside. The guard at the door gave her a strange look. Recruits are not supposed to be out after lights out. I could not sleep, Hana said. I just need some air. I will stay close to the building. The guard hesitated but nodded.
10 minutes.
And stay in the light. Hana walked to the edge of the courtyard where the floodlights ended and the jungle began. She could feel eyes on her immediately. She put the wrapped meat on the ground near the fence. I know you are there, she said softly. Thank you for whatever you were doing. Watching over me, I guess. I brought you something. There was no response. Just the normal jungle sounds. Crickets, birds, the wind in the trees. Hana went back inside. The guard looked relieved. In the morning, the meat was gone. This became a pattern. Every few nights, Hana would slip out and leave food by the fence. She never saw the Apex take it, but it was always gone by morning. She started leaving the food in the same spot. Started talking to the shadows while she was there. Training was hard today. Doyen says I am too slow. He is probably right. Minji thinks you are fascinating. She wants to study you. I told her you are not a science project. I wonder what you were doing before I found you. Were you hunting?
Looking for your family?
She did not expect answers. But it felt good to talk to someone who did not judge her for being weak or small or human. Then came the night everything changed. It was a survival training exercise. Hana's squad was dropped in the jungle 5 kilometers from the facility. They had to find their way back using only basic equipment. No GPS, no communication devices. Just maps and compasses. It was meant to be difficult but safe. Instructors monitored from drones overhead. Nothing should go wrong. But something did. The squad was moving through a narrow valley when Hana heard the sound. A clicking, hissing noise that made her skin crawl. She stopped walking. Do you hear that? She whispered to Jiwon. Before he could answer, they emerged from the trees. A pack of creatures about the size of wolves but with too many legs and mouths that split open 3 ways. Their skin was mottled green and brown, perfect camouflage for the jungle. The drone operators must have been watching a different section because no warning came. The creatures attacked fast. The squad scattered, some running, some trying to fight. Hana grabbed Jiwon and pulled him behind a fallen log. The creatures were everywhere, moving like liquid shadows. One alien recruit went down, screaming. Another managed to fight off 2 of the creatures, but 3 more took their place. This was bad. This was very bad. Then the temperature seemed to drop. The air felt heavier. The attacking creatures suddenly stopped and turned toward the trees. The apex emerged from the shadows like a nightmare made real. It was fully grown now, or close to it, bigger than the young creature Hana had freed. Its crystalline spikes glowed bright blue, almost electric. When it moved, it seemed to blur at the edges like it was not entirely solid. The pack creatures hissed and backed away. They wanted nothing to do with an apex, but the apex did not attack them. It simply walked through their midst, forcing them aside with its presence alone, and positioned itself between the creatures and Hana. The pack understood. This prey was claimed. This prey was protected. They fled into the jungle. The squad stared in absolute shock. An apex, the most feared predator on the planet, had just saved them. Or more specifically, had saved the small human recruit hiding behind the log. The apex turned its massive head toward Hana. In the moonlight, she could see the scar on its leg where the trap cable had cut. Its glowing eyes met hers. "Thank you," she whispered. The creature made a sound almost like a purr but deeper. Then it melted back into the shadows and was gone. Drones arrived seconds later. Emergency protocols activated. The squad was extracted immediately, and Hana knew that everything was about to become much more complicated. The transport ship landed with a heavy thud on the green planet called Viridian 7. Hana pressed her face against the window, and watched the thick jungle outside. Trees as tall as buildings swayed in the wind. Strange birds with 4 wings flew between the branches. This was going to be her home for the next 6 months. She was nervous. Very nervous. Hana was 22 years old, and this was her first real assignment with the Galactic Coalition. She had trained on Earth for 2 years, learning about alien species and how to survive in dangerous places. But training and reality were 2 different things. The ship door opened. Hot, wet air rushed inside. It smelled like earth and flowers and something wild she could not name. Hana grabbed her bag and followed the other recruits down the ramp. There were 12 humans in her group. 12 out of 300 recruits total. The rest were aliens from dozens of different worlds. Some had scales. Some had fur. Some had skin that changed colors. They were all bigger and stronger than the humans. Everyone knew humans were the weakest species in the coalition. A tall man in a military uniform waited at the bottom of the ramp. He was human, which made Hana feel a little better. His name tag read Commander Taeyang. "Welcome to Viridian 7, he said in a strong voice. "I know what you are thinking. You are thinking this place looks beautiful. You are right. But beautiful does not mean safe. This planet will kill you if you are not careful." The alien recruits laughed. One of them, a massive creature with gray scales and yellow eyes, spoke up. "Maybe it will kill the weak ones," he said, looking straight at the human group. Commander Taeyang's face became hard. "Dune, that is enough. Every species has strengths. Every species has weaknesses. We are here to learn from each other." Doyen smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Of course, Commander. I look forward to seeing what the humans can teach us." More laughter followed. Hana felt her face get hot, but she said nothing. She had heard worse back on Earth when she told people she wanted to join the coalition. The commander led them to the training facility. It was a large complex of buildings surrounded by tall walls. Guard towers stood at each corner. Beyond the walls, the jungle pressed close, thick and dark and alive with sounds. "The walls keep out most of the dangerous animals," Taeyang explained, "but not all of them. Stay inside after dark. That is when the real predators come out." "What kind of predators?" asked another human recruit, a young man named Ji-won. "Many kinds," Taeyang said. "But the most dangerous is what the locals call the apex. It is a perfect hunter. Fast, smart, and nearly invisible in the shadows. One apex can take down prey 10 times its size. We have lost 3 researchers to them in the past year." The group became quiet. Even the alien recruits looked concerned. That night, Hana could not sleep. She lay in her bunk and listened to the jungle outside her window. Strange calls and roars echoed through the darkness. Something big moved through the trees nearby, making branches crack and break. She thought about her family back on Earth. Her mother had cried when she left. Her father had tried to be strong, but she saw the worry in his eyes. They thought she was making a mistake. Humans did not belong in the military, they said. Humans were too fragile, but Hana wanted to prove them wrong. She wanted to show that humans could do more than just live on Earth and farm and build things. They could explore. They could protect. They could matter. The first week was hard, very hard. The alien recruits were faster in every race. They were stronger in every test. They could climb higher, jump farther, and fight better. Hana and the other humans always finished last. Doyen never missed a chance to point this out. "Perhaps the humans should work in the kitchen instead," he would say. "Or be careful with that equipment, human. It might be too heavy for you." But Hana noticed something. While the aliens were stronger, they were not always smarter. They rushed into situations without thinking. They used force when patience would work better. They did not work well together because each one wanted to be the strongest. Humans had to think differently because they could not rely on strength alone. On the 8th day, something happened that changed everything. A research team had set up a camp deep in the jungle, about 15 kilometers from the facility. They were studying plant life and had been there for 2 weeks. That morning, their daily check-in did not come. Commander Taeyang called for volunteers to go find them. Most of the alien recruits jumped at the chance to prove themselves. Hana raised her hand too. Taeyang looked surprised. "Hana, this will be dangerous. We will be going into Apex territory." "I know, sir," she said, "but I can help. I am good at tracking and navigation." Doyen laughed. "Let her come, Commander. She can carry the extra water. That is about all humans are good for." Taeyang's jaw tightened, but he nodded. "Fine, Hana, you are with Squad 3. We leave in 1 hour. Bring water, rations, and a medical kit. And Hana, Stay close to the group. Do not wander off. The search party moved through the jungle in 3 squads of 10. Hana was grouped with 8 aliens and 1 other human, Jiwan. The jungle was even more overwhelming up close. Vines hung everywhere. Insects the size of her hand buzzed past. The heat was crushing. They found the research camp just before noon. It was destroyed. Tents were torn apart. Equipment was scattered everywhere. But there was no blood, no bodies. No sign of what happened. Spread out, ordered the squad leader, a blue-skinned alien named Kira. Look for clues. Stay in pairs. Dark clouds rolled in fast. Within minutes, rain poured down so hard Hana could barely see 5 meters ahead. Thunder crashed overhead. The jungle became a maze of gray shadows and running water. Hana stuck close to Jiwan, but in the confusion they got separated from the others. She called out, but the rain swallowed her voice. She tried to retrace her steps, but everything looked the same. Then she heard it. A sound that did not belong to the storm. A low, pained growl. Hana followed the sound carefully, pushing through wet leaves and thorny vines. In a small clearing she found the creature. It was an apex, but it was young, maybe not even fully grown. It was the size of a large lion, with 6 legs and a sleek black body covered in sharp crystalline spikes that glowed faintly blue. Its face was like a panther's, but more intelligent, more aware, and it was caught in a trap. Metal cables wrapped around 2 of its legs. The more it struggled, the tighter they got. Blood dripped from where the cables cut into its skin. The creature saw Hana and snarled, showing fangs as long as her fingers. Every instinct told her to run. This thing could kill her in seconds. But she saw something in its eyes. Fear, pain. The same look she had seen in injured animals back on Earth. Hana slowly lowered herself to the ground. She kept her hands visible. "Hey," she said softly. "Hey, it is okay. I am not going to hurt you." The apex watched her closely. It stopped struggling, but its muscles stayed tense, ready to strike. Hana moved forward centimeter by centimeter. She talked the whole time, keeping her voice calm and low. "I know you are scared. These traps are illegal. Someone put them here who should not have. Let me help you, please." She reached the first cable. The apex growled again, but it did not attack. Hana found the release mechanism and carefully pressed it. The cable loosened and fell away. The creature's growl softened. Hana moved to the second cable. Her hands were shaking, but she kept talking, kept moving slowly. "Almost done. Just stay calm. You will be free soon." The second cable released. The apex pulled its leg free and stood up. It was so close now that Hana could feel its breath, hot and heavy with the smell of meat. They stared at each other for a long moment. Rain poured down between them. Thunder rolled across the sky. Then the apex did something unexpected. It lowered its head slightly, almost like a bow. Its glowing spikes dimmed to a soft blue. And then it turned and disappeared into the jungle without a sound. Hana sat there in the rain, her heart pounding so hard she thought it might explode. She had just saved the planet's deadliest predator. She had no idea that the predator would remember. The facility went into lockdown the moment the squad returned. Every recruit was questioned. Security footage was reviewed a dozen times, and Hana was taken to Commander Taeyang's office where he, Minji, and 2 other officials were waiting. One of the officials was new. His name was Hyunwoo, and according to his credentials, he was a coalition xenopsychologist. That meant he studied how alien minds worked. He had come from the capital specifically to deal with the apex situation. "Let me understand this correctly," Hyunwoo said, looking at his datapad. "You freed an injured apex from illegal traps. Since then, it has been following you, watching you, and last night it defended you and your squad from a pack of predators." "Yes, sir," Hana said. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking under the table. "And you have been feeding it?" "Small amounts. A few times. I wanted to say thank you." Hyunwoo leaned back in his chair. He had a calm face, but his eyes were sharp. "You understand this should be impossible. Apex creatures are solitary, territorial. They do not form attachments to other species. Maybe they do not form attachments to species that try to kill them," Hana said quietly. "I did not try to kill it. I helped it," Minji spoke up. "She makes a good point. We have spent years studying apex creatures by tracking them, tagging them, observing them from distance. We treat them as specimens, as objects. We have never tried approaching them with kindness." "Kindness," Doyen said from near the door. He had been called in to give his account of the attack. The creature is a predator. It does not understand kindness. It probably sees the human as weak prey and is waiting for the right moment to strike. If it wanted to eat her, it has had many chances, Minji said sharply. It could have attacked last night. Instead, it protected her. We need to study this, Hyunwoo said. This bond could teach us more about apex creatures than 10 years of traditional research. But we need to do it carefully. Hana, would you be willing to participate in some controlled observations? Hana looked at Commander Taeyang. He gave a small nod. What would I have to do? She asked. Nothing dangerous, Hyunwoo said. We just want to observe your interactions with the creature. Document its behavior. Try to understand the nature of this bond. Over the next week, Hyunwoo set up a research protocol. Every evening, Hana would go to a specific area near the fence. She would spend 30 minutes there while cameras and sensors recorded everything. The apex always came. At first, it stayed in the shadows, just watching. But gradually, it came closer. Hana started calling it Biol, the Korean word for star, because of how its crystalline spikes sparkled in the light. She would sit on the ground and talk to Biol while the researchers watched from inside. She told the creature about her day, about training, about Earth and her family. Biol would listen, its head tilted slightly, its eyes fixed on her. Communication is definitely happening, Minji said, reviewing the recordings. Look at its body language. When she talks about positive things, its spikes glow brighter. When she mentions something upsetting, they dim. It is responding to her emotional state. Impossible, Doyeon muttered. You are seeing what you want to see. But even he could not deny what happened on the 8th day of observation. Hana had been feeling sick that morning. A virus was going around the facility and she had caught it. She went to her observation session anyway because she did not want to break the routine. She sat down heavily, exhausted. Sorry, Biol, not feeling great today. I will not stay long. Biol emerged from the jungle faster than usual. It approached the fence closer than it had ever come. Its spikes were pulsing with a soft blue light, and it made a sound, a low rumbling that was almost like concern. I am okay, Hana said. Just sick. It will pass. Biol lowered its head and pushed something under the fence. A plant. Hana recognized it from her botanical training. It was a medicinal herb that locals used for fever and infection. Hana picked it up with shaking hands. Tears filled her eyes. You brought me medicine? Biol made that rumbling sound again. In the observation room, everyone was silent. Even Doyeon had nothing to say. That is tool use, Hyunwoo said quietly. That is empathy. That is cognitive reasoning. This creature understood she was sick and took action to help her. Minji was typing furiously on her datapad. We need to completely revise our understanding of apex intelligence. They are not simple predators. They are sophisticated, emotional, social beings. Then why have we never seen this behavior before? Someone asked. Because we never gave them a reason to show it, Minji said, looking at Hana through the window. We treated them as dangerous animals to be avoided. She treated one as a living being that needed help, and it remembered. Word spread through the facility about the plant incident. Attitudes started to shift. Some recruits looked at Hana with respect instead of pity. Others were just afraid. The small human who walked with the planet's apex predator, but not everyone was happy about the situation. Suho, one of the combat instructors, was convinced that humans were somehow manipulating the apex. He was a tall alien with silver skin and 4 arms, and he had strong opinions about human weakness. There is a trick here, he announced during a training session. Some technology or pheromone. Humans cannot bond with apex creatures naturally. They are too weak. The creature probably pities her. Jiwon, who had become a good friend to Hana, spoke up. Maybe being strong is not the only thing that matters. Suho's eyes narrowed. You want to prove that? Fine. I will prove humans are using tricks. That evening, Suho went to the observation area during Hana's session. He carried equipment scanners and cameras, and he was armed. Hana was talking to Biol about the upcoming final exam when Suho walked out of the facility building. Stay there, recruit, he said. I need to conduct a test. What kind of test? Hana asked, standing up. I am going to scan the area for any technological manipulation. If you are controlling this creature somehow, I will find the evidence. Biol saw Suho and immediately went on alert. Its spikes flared bright and sharp. A warning. Sir, please go back inside, Hana said. Biol does not know you. It might think you are a threat? It? Suho laughed. You named it? How touching. He moved closer to the fence, pointing his scanner at Biol. Biol growled. It was a sound that made the ground vibrate. Fascinating, Suho said, not backing down. Let us see how it reacts to this. He pulled out a small device that emitted a high-pitched sound. It was meant to scare animals away. Biol exploded into motion. It hit the fence so hard that the metal posts bent. Its claws scraped against the barrier, trying to get through. The crystalline spikes glowed like blue fire. This was not the calm creature that brought Hana medicine. This was a predator ready to kill. Stop, Hana shouted. She ran between Suho and the fence. Stop it, you are scaring it. Move, recruit, Suho yelled. That thing is going to break through. But Hana did not move. She turned to face Biol. The creature was massive and terrifying, every muscle tensed for attack. Its eyes were locked on Suho. Biol, Hana said firmly. Biol, look at me. The creature's eyes shifted to her. He is not going to hurt me. I am safe, you need to calm down. Biol growled again, but quieter. I know. He was stupid to do that. But I am okay. See? I am okay. Slowly, very slowly, Biol's spikes began to dim. Its muscles relaxed. It stopped trying to break through the fence. But it never took its eyes off Suho. Hana turned to the instructor. Please go inside, sir, now. Suho looked at her, then at Biol, then back at her. For the first time, there was no mockery in his expression. Just shock. He backed away slowly and returned to the building. Hana turned back to Biol. Her heart was pounding. Thank you for protecting me. But you cannot attack people. Even stupid people, okay? Biol made a soft sound and touched its nose to the fence where Hana's hand rested. The metal between them was the only thing keeping them apart. In the observation room, Hyunwoo was recording everything. Did you see that? She controlled an enraged apex with just her voice. No weapons, no technology. Just trust, Minji nodded. The bond is real. It is based on mutual respect and care. This is groundbreaking. Even Doyen looked impressed, though he tried to hide it. But in another part of the facility, someone else was watching the footage with very different thoughts. His name was Young-soo, and he was the facility's operations commander. He handled logistics, supplies, and security contracts. He was also making a lot of money from illegal activities that nobody knew about. Young-soo watched Hana and the Apex and smiled. A bonded Apex, controllable, valuable, worth more money than he could count. He picked up a communicator and called someone off-world. We have a situation here, he said, and an opportunity. How much would you pay for a living Apex that obeys commands? The voice on the other end named a price that made Young-soo's smile grow wider. Give me 2 weeks, he said. I will deliver both the creature and the handler. He ended the call and looked at the screen showing Hana and Biol together. Sorry, little human, he said to himself. But you just became very valuable to me. 3 days after the incident with Suho, strange things started happening at the facility. Small things at first. Equipment going missing. Security cameras malfunctioning in specific areas. Transport schedules changing without explanation. Most people did not notice, but Minji noticed. Something is wrong, she told Hyunwoo in her lab. Look at these reports. Medical supplies disappearing, sedatives and tranquilizers specifically, and 3 tracking collars are unaccounted for. Hyunwoo frowned. Could be simple inventory errors. Maybe, but it feels wrong. Those are exactly the items you would need to capture and transport a large predator. You think someone is planning to take Biol? I do not know, but we should be careful. They decided to tell Commander Taeyang, but when they went to his office, they found Young-soo there instead. The commander is off base today, Young-soo said with a friendly smile. Inspection tour of the northern outposts. Can I help you with something? Minji hesitated. Something about Young-soo's smile felt false. No, it can wait. That night, Hana went to her usual observation session. Biol was already there, waiting. The creature had become comfortable enough to lie down near the fence while Hana talked. Training was good today, Hana said. I actually beat my previous time on the obstacle course. Still slower than everyone else, but I am getting better. Biol made a pleased rumbling sound. Minji thinks something weird is going on. I hope she is just being paranoid. Hana paused. I worry about you, you know. Being here makes you vulnerable, Maybe you should go back deep into the jungle where it is safe. Biol's spikes flared slightly. A clear no. Hana smiled. Stubborn, just like me. She did not notice the small drone watching from the trees. Did not see the figures in the jungle behind Biol, checking their equipment. Did not know that Young-Soo was in the security center, watching her on multiple screens. Is everything in position? Young-Soo asked into his communicator. Yes, sir, came the reply. Tranquilizer nets ready, stun barriers ready. We can grab both the creature and the girl when you give the order. Not yet. We do it tomorrow during the final exam. Everyone will be distracted. Make sure the transport ship is ready. The next morning, Commander Tae-yang returned to the facility. He immediately called a meeting with Hyunwoo and Minji. I received some disturbing information from Coalition headquarters, he said. There have been reports of illegal apex trafficking. Someone is capturing these creatures and selling them to private collectors and military contractors. Headquarters suspects the operation has inside help at this facility. Minji felt her stomach drop. The missing supplies. What missing supplies? She told him everything. The sedatives, the tracking collars, the equipment that had disappeared. Taeyang's face went hard. Who has access to all those resources? They all realized it at the same time. Young-Soo. Taeyang stood up fast. Where is he now? He was in the security center last time I saw him, Minji said. They ran to the security center, but Young-Soo was not there. The duty officer said he had left an hour ago for a supply inspection. Taeyang pulled up the security logs. His hands flew across the keyboard. Then he froze. He has been watching Hana's observation sessions. Every single one, recording them. And look at this. He pulled up communication logs. Multiple calls to an off-world contact. Encrypted. We need to find Hana, Hyunwoo said. If he wants Biol, he will need her to control it. The final exam, Minji said suddenly. It starts in 20 minutes. All the recruits will be in the jungle for the test. It would be the perfect time to take them. Taeyang grabbed his communicator. All units locate recruit Hana immediately. Security alert level red. Find Young-Soo and detain him for questioning. But they were already too late. Hana was with her squad in the jungle, waiting for the final exam to begin. It was a complicated scenario where they had to navigate to 3 checkpoints while avoiding various obstacles. Her squad leader was explaining the rules when Hana heard something that made her blood run cold. A tranquilizer shot. The distinctive pfaft sound of the compressed air gun. Her squad leader dropped to the ground unconscious. 3 more shots and the rest of her squad went down. Hana ran. She did not know where she was running, just away. But figures in tactical gear emerged from the trees. 6 of them, all carrying weapons. Just come quietly, recruit, one of them said. We do not want to hurt you. We just need you to call your pet. Biol is not a pet, Hana said, backing away. Whatever it is very valuable, and you are the only one who can control it. So you are coming with us. Hana kept backing up until she hit something solid. A net barrier. She was trapped. One of the men raised his tranquilizer gun. Hana closed her eyes. The gun fired, but the dart never hit her. Biol materialized from the shadows like a nightmare. It had caught the dart in midair with its jaws. The men spun around in shock. There it is. Fire! Fire! Tranquilizer darts flew at Biol from all directions, but the creature was impossibly fast. It dodged most of them, and the ones that hit bounced off its crystalline spikes. The capture nets now. 2 men fired metal nets that expanded in midair, but Biol slashed through them with its claws like they were paper. It moved toward the men, and they scattered. Fall back. Get the heavy weapons. But Biol was not interested in them. It came to Hana, placing its massive body between her and danger. Its spikes were glowing so bright they lit up the jungle. A clear message. Do not touch her. Hana, Jiwon's voice came from the trees. This way. Jiwon had somehow escaped and come looking for her. Hana ran to him, and Biol followed, walking backward to keep watching the armed men. They ran through the jungle together. Biol guided them through paths that Hana could not even see, moving so silently that it was like running with a ghost. Behind them, she could hear the men shouting and crashing through the undergrowth. "Where do we go?" Ji-won gasped. Hana did not know, but Biol did. It led them to a place deep in the jungle that Hana had never seen before. A clearing with ancient stone ruins covered in vines, and there, hidden in the ruins, were cages. Metal cages. Big ones. And inside them were 3 more apex creatures. They were alive, but barely. Wounded. Starving. Their spikes were dull and cracked. When they saw Biol, they made sounds of distress and recognition. "This is where they have been keeping them," Hana whispered. "This is the trafficking operation." Biol went to the cages and pressed against the bars. The other apex creatures touched their noses to Biol's through the gaps. They were family. Or maybe friends. Either way, they knew each other. Hana looked at the locks. They were electronic with keypads. I do not know the code, but Ji-won was good with technology. He pulled out a small toolkit. "I can try to bypass them, but it will take time." "Do it," Hana said. She stood guard with Biol while Ji-won worked on the first lock. Minutes passed. In the distance, she heard engines, vehicles, lots of them, and voices. They were coming. "Faster," Hana urged. "I am trying." The first lock clicked open. The cage door swung wide and the apex inside stumbled out. It was weak, but alive. Biol made encouraging sounds, and the freed apex moved behind the ruins to hide. Ji-won moved to the second cage. His hands were shaking but steady. Almost got it. The vehicles were getting closer. Hana could see lights through the trees. The second lock opened. Another apex freed. It joined its companion in hiding. Ji-won ran to the third cage. "This one is different, more secure. It will take longer." "We do not have longer," Hana said. The vehicles burst into the clearing. 4 armored transports, armed men poured out, and leading them was Young-soo. "Step away from the cage," he ordered. Hana did not move. Behind her, Ji-won kept working on the lock. "I said step away. That merchandise is worth millions. You cannot free them." "They are not merchandise," Hana said. "They are living beings. You have been torturing them." "They are animals," Young-soo said coldly. "Valuable animals. And you are going to help me capture more of them, or your friend is going to have an accident." 2 of his men grabbed Ji-won and pulled him away from the cage. They put a gun to his head. "No!" Hana screamed. Biol roared. It was a sound that shook the ground, a sound of pure rage. The 2 freed apex creatures emerged from hiding, answering the call. 3 apex predators ready to fight. "Tranquilizer cannons now," Young-soo yelled. 2 men wheeled out a massive weapon. It fired a huge net with weighted edges and chemical-soaked ropes, strong enough to capture even an apex. They fired at Biol. The net flew through the air. Hana did not think, she just moved. She jumped in front of Biol. The net hit her instead, wrapping around her and slamming her to the ground. The chemical coating burned her skin. "You idiot!" Young-soo screamed. That was a 50,000 credit net. But Hana was not paying attention to him. She was looking at Biol. The creature's eyes were locked on hers. And in that moment, Hana knew what she had to do. "Biol," she said, her voice calm despite the pain. "Get them out, all of them, the third cage. Break it." Biol understood. It turned to the third cage and brought its full strength down on the lock. Once, twice, 3 times. The metal screamed and broke. The last apex stumbled free. "Stop them," Young-soo yelled. "Kill them if you have to." But the men hesitated. 4 apex creatures, angry, protective. No amount of money was worth facing that. Then new lights appeared. More vehicles. But these were military, real coalition forces, led by Commander Taeyang, with Min Jie. The 4 apex creatures stood together in a defensive circle, their spikes glowing with warning light. They were hurt and scared and surrounded by the same species that had caged them. Every instinct told them to fight or run. "Everyone stay still," Taeyang ordered his soldiers. No sudden movements. No weapons pointed at them. But Youngsu was not finished. Even surrounded and caught, he had one last card to play. While everyone was focused on the apex creatures, he grabbed a weapon from the nearest soldier and aimed it at Hana. "I am leaving here," he said, "and she is coming with me. Unless you want to see what happens when I shoot the only person these things care about." Biol snarled and took a step forward. The other 3 apex creatures moved with it, ready to attack. "Shoot her and they tear you apart," Taeyang said calmly. "You know they will." "Then we all die together," Youngsu said. "My partners are waiting for me off-world." "Let me go and the girl lives, I'm partners?" Hyunwoo spoke up. "You mean the Rakthian smuggling cartel? We already arrested them. Coalition agents raided their operation 2 hours ago." "You have nowhere to go." Youngsu's face went pale. His hand shook on the weapon. Hana spoke softly. "It is over, you lost. Just put the gun down." "Shut up! You ruined everything." "I had the perfect operation. Then you had to go and make friends with these animals." "They are not animals," Hana said. "They are intelligent. They feel pain. They remember kindness and cruelty. You hurt them. You hurt Biol's family." She looked at the apex creatures and suddenly understood. "That is why Biol was young and alone when I found it in the trap. You killed its pack. It was the only survivor." Biol made a low, mournful sound that confirmed it. "So what?" Youngsu snapped. "They are predators. Dangerous. The galaxy is better off with them in cages or dead." "No," said a new voice. "The galaxy is better off when we try to understand instead of destroy." Everyone turned. An older woman in Coalition Admiral's uniform walked into the clearing, surrounded by guards. Her name was Admiral Somin, and she was one of the highest-ranking officers in this sector. "Admiral," Taeyang saluted. "We have the situation under control." "I can see that, Commander. I came as soon as I received your report." She looked at Youngsu with disgust. "Take him away. Make sure he does not escape." Soldiers grabbed Youngsu and dragged him to a transport vehicle. He was screaming about lawyers and rights, but no one was listening. Admiral Somin walked slowly toward the apex creatures. They tensed, ready to defend themselves. "Admiral, please be careful," Minji warned. "I am always careful, Doctor." The Admiral stopped at a respectful distance. "I understand one of these creatures has formed a bond with a human recruit. Which one of you is Hana?" Hana stepped forward nervously. "I am, Admiral. I have been reading the reports about you. Quite interesting. Do you think you can help these injured creatures? They need medical attention, but I do not think they will let our veterinarians near them." Hana looked at Biol. "I can try." She walked slowly toward the 4 apex creatures. The 3 rescued ones backed away, but Biol stepped forward to meet her. She touched Biol's face gently. "I need your help," she said. "Your friends are hurt. We have medicine and doctors who can help them, but they do not trust us. You need to show them it is safe." Biol looked at her, then at the other 3 apex creatures. It made a series of sounds, complex and clearly meaningful. The other creatures listened. They were still afraid, but they stopped backing away. Minji came forward with a medical kit. "I will be as gentle as possible," she promised. With Biol watching, Minji began treating the worst wounds on the nearest apex. It flinched, but did not attack. Slowly, other medical staff came forward. The apex creatures allowed it because Biol allowed it. Because they trusted Biol and Biol trusted Hana. "Remarkable," Admiral Somin said. "Commander Taeyang, your report suggested that humans might have unique abilities in cross-species relations. I am beginning to believe you were right. The medical treatment took hours. The apex creatures were suffering from malnutrition, infected wounds, and the effects of constant sedation. But they were strong. They would survive." As dawn broke over the jungle, Hana sat on a rock, exhausted. Biol lay next to her, finally relaxed. The other 3 apex creatures rested nearby, their spikes dim and peaceful. Jiwan brought her water and food. "You okay?" "Tired, scared, happy all at once. You saved them. You saved all of us. Biol saved us. I just tried to be a good friend." Admiral Somin approached them. "Hana, I need to ask you something important. These apex creatures cannot stay at the facility. It is not safe for them or for us. They need to return to the deep jungle, but they are traumatized and injured. They need time to recover and relearn how to survive. Would you be willing to help with their rehabilitation?" Hana looked at Biol. "What would that mean?" "It means staying on Viridian 7 for at least 6 more months, working with the xenobiology team, teaching us how to communicate with these creatures." helping them heal. The Admiral paused. It also means you would not complete your military training on the normal schedule. But in exchange, you would be pioneering a completely new field, cross-species bonding and communication. We could use someone like you in first contact scenarios. Hana did not know what to say. She had worked so hard to become a soldier, to prove humans could fight alongside aliens, and now she was being offered something completely different. But when she looked at Biol, she knew her answer. Yes, Admiral, I will do it. Over the next 6 months, everything changed. The facility was restructured. Young-Soo and his accomplices were sent to prison. New security protocols were put in place, and an entire new wing was built for the Apex Rehabilitation Project. Hana worked with Minji and Hyunwoo to study Apex behavior. They discovered that the creatures had a complex communication system based on sounds, body language, and the way their crystalline spikes glowed. They had family groups. They mourned their dead. They played and learned and remembered. They were not animals. They were people, just very different kinds of people. The 3 rescued Apex gradually recovered. One of them, which Minji named Dawn because it was the first to trust humans besides Biol, eventually allowed other researchers to approach. The other 2 remained cautious but no longer hostile. News of the project spread through the coalition. Other researchers came to study. Documentaries were made, and slowly, very slowly, attitudes began to change. Humans were no longer seen as just the weak species that got lucky with Earth's location. They were becoming known as the bridge species, the ones who could talk to others, understand others, connect with others in ways that stronger, older species could not or would not. Suho, the combat instructor who had provoked Biol months earlier, actually apologized to Hana. I was wrong about humans, he admitted. Strength is important, but so is empathy. So is patience. You taught me that. Even Doyen became respectful. He still made jokes sometimes, but they were friendly jokes, not cruel ones. Commander Taeyang watched Hana's progress with pride. You know, he told her one day, when humans first joined the coalition, I worried we would always be second-class citizens. Too weak, too emotional. But you showed me that those traits are not weaknesses. They are gifts. 6 months after the rescue, it was time. The 4 apex creatures were healthy and strong. They needed to return to the wild, to the deep jungle where they belonged. Hana walked with them to the edge of the protected territory. Biol stayed by her side the whole way. The other 3 ranged ahead, excited to be free. This is where I have to stop, Hana said when they reached the boundary. You need to go back to your world, be free. Be safe, Biol made a questioning sound. Come with us. I cannot. I have responsibilities here. People need me, but I will come visit. I promise. And if you ever need me, you know where to find me. Biol pressed its massive head against Hana's chest. She wrapped her arms around it, feeling the hum of its purr vibrating through her body. Tears ran down her face. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for teaching me that being different does not mean being less. The 4 apex creatures walked into the jungle together. Biol looked back once, its spikes glowing bright with affection. Then they disappeared into the shadows. Hana stood there for a long time, watching the place where they had vanished. She felt sad but also proud. She had helped them, and they had helped her. A year later, Hana was no longer a recruit. She held the rank of specialist and worked as a liaison in the Coalition's new cross-species relations division. Her job was to help in first contact situations with newly discovered species. She was good at it. When other species saw a small, weak human approaching them with kindness instead of weapons, they responded. They trusted. They opened up. Humans were becoming the diplomats of the galaxy, the translators, the friends. Not because they were the strongest or the smartest, but because they knew how to see others as people. Hana returned to Viridian 7 every few months. She would go to the jungle's edge and call out, and Biol would come, as massive and beautiful as ever, now leading a pack of its own. Sometimes Biol brought its young to meet Hana, cubs that tumbled over themselves trying to touch the strange, soft human who smelled like friendship. Hana would laugh and play with them while Biol watched proudly. The facility had become a learning center. Recruits from